Well, here I am at Glasgow Central on a Monday morning, and I'm taking the train to Neilston to explore a branch line, which wasn't originally a branch line, but that's quite a common story. There are quite a few branch lines in Britain that weren't originally branch lines, so this is a story of greedy competition. Right, I'm going to board this train, which is going to Newton, and then I'm going to get off at Queen's Park. And we're off ski. Shields East. Queen's Park, and a beautiful station building. So I'm going to spend 15 minutes here between trains. The Cathcart Circle was built in 1886, forming part of the Caledonian Railway to exploit the growing suburbs on the south side of Glasgow, built of the Giffnock sandstone, which I mentioned in my film about East Kilbride. A notable feature of the Cathcart Circle is that they all have island platforms. The reason apparently being, if you missed a train to Glasgow in one direction, you could cross the platform and catch a train going to Glasgow in the opposite direction. How thoughtful of the Caledonian Railway. And the departure screens still show trains to Glasgow Central in either direction. And the Caledonian Railway were good at building beautiful stations, and the one at Queen's Park hasn't been demolished or anything yet. An exit at either end, so be careful when you come to visit somebody at Queen's Park. Make sure you get the right exit. A local guy who got off the same train as me has asked me why this station is interesting, and I told him something he knew, of course, which is that you would alight here for Hampden Park Stadium, and I have done that many times because I've been to many matches at Hampden, both internationals and cup matches, and you would go up the steps here to Hampden Park. So imagine in the 1890s when they were building these beautiful flats and you could commute to the city centre from Mount Florida station. Down there. Football stadia aren't the easiest things to film. Can't really see the pitch. And there's the front of the stadium. There's also a sports clinic here where I sometimes come for physiotherapy, which is good. Welcome to Hampden. When I was a bit more professional, I sometimes came here for conferences. Of course, the main distraction when I came here for conferences was going into the breakout rooms for little breakouts, which overlooked the pitch. So you can see lesser Hampden and bigger Hampden, and a young guy hobbling his way to the sports clinic. I've just noticed that Mount Florida station has a lift at the Prospect Hill Road exit. So I'm going to take the lift just to see where we go. Well, presumably Prospect Hill Road. So here we go. There's the lift.
Doors opening.
Thank you. Risk of trapping hand, weak finger. Okay, so here we are. I've now alighted from the lift, and there's another flight of stairs. So the lift ends there. There's a flight of stairs there, but you can go that way. Let's see what's this way. Another flight of stairs probably. Oh no, it seems to go to a car park and some rubbish bins. Now the line from here to Neilston was built to enable the Caledonian Railway to reach Ardrossan. And they wanted to reach Ardrossan so they could exploit the lucrative ferry traffic to the Isle of Arran. But there was another reason why they built the line from here to Neilston. Before I explain further, let's have a look at Muir End Station, the first station on the branch itself. Muir End, another station with an island platform. Well, I had to check my notes there. It's a Category B listed building. I don't know what Category B means because the next station I'm going to is a Category C listed building. But according to one of the books I've read, this is the last remaining Caledonian Railway station of its type. Let's walk round and look at this beautiful building. I have been here before. I used this station once when I was coming to a beer festival on the playing fields of a rugby club, which was quite amusing. It was a good beer festival. I'd never been to a bad beer festival, a festival of bad beer. Got a ticket vending machine and of course the ticket window. Let's go round this side. I'm down to 6 minutes before my train. Not many adverts. ScotRail are good at advertising themselves, but they don't seem to sell advertising space on stations anymore. Let's go and have a look at the footbridge. I love the bridge here. So the next train, I'm probably going to get off at White Craigs, because White Craigs is also a listed building. I think it's category C. And here comes my train, the 1350 to Neilston. Train to Neilston! And there we have the category C listed building with a floral display. Isn't it beautiful? And the station was originally called White Craigs for Rooken Glen, which is still on some of the station name boards. I think as far as stations go, that's really cool. Yeah, I've always lived north of the river, so I'm not so familiar with the south side of Glasgow, but I know that this area, White Craigs, sometimes known as the Craigs, is quite posh. I'm a bit disappointed that the ticket office is closed, because there are some framed photos of trains at the station in the ticket office, so maybe I should come back earlier in the morning. The Caledonian Railway did manage to reach Ardrossan in 1890, but that was by using a joint line, the line that goes through Barhead to Kilwinning. They were a little bit annoyed at having to pay tolls to use the joint line. It was jointly owned with the Glasgow and South Western. So in 1903 they opened this route from Glasgow Central to Ardrossan via the Cathcart Circle, this particular line to Neilston, and then from Neilston through Uplow Moor down to Kilwinning. And from Kilwinning they were able to run on the line they had already built to Montgomery Pier in Ardrossan. So basically there were two parallel railway lines, one built by the Glasgow and South Western, one built by the Caledonian. When the amalgamation happened in 1923, both those companies ended up in the LMS. And the LMS must have thought, this is a bit silly. So in 1932 they closed the line to passengers between Uplow Moor and Kilwinning. Uplow Moor itself was closed to passengers in 1962, and the line was closed completely beyond Neilston in 1964. Although it was still used for the odd passenger train, apparently the Royal Train used it once, and there is photographic evidence of football specials from Kilmarnock, Hampden Park, via this line, with steam engines. And the LMS were able to close the line in 1932 because at Stevenston the two lines were very close to each other, and they were able to put in a connecting spur so that their boat trains could continue to run to Montgomery Pier.
Hatterton. This train is for Neilston. The next stop is Neilston. This is Neilston, where the stranger.
Well, the train has terminated, but off it goes. That's because it changes platforms. Hence the shunting dolly. Now this ticket office is open, unlike the one at White Craigs, and to my surprise and pleasure I found not one but 3 commemorative plaques, including one commemorating the opening of the station in 1903. And when the LMS came into being, they inherited 2 stations in Neilston, one Caledonian, one Glasgow and South Western. So this one was renamed Neilston High because it's quite high up, and the other one, the GSW, was renamed Neilston Low. Neilston Low closed in the 1960s because it wasn't really convenient to the village, and the name Neilston High persisted until the 1970s for this station. Well, I'm a bit hungry now, so I'm going to go into Neilston, see what I can find. Well, there's a co-op. That's a good start. William Wood. I call this bungalow country. So this is William Wood, opened in 1929, possibly responding to housing developments, a new block on the line. In 1983, Strathclyde region did consider ending the line here and closing the 3 stations beyond here, in other words White Craigs, Patterton and Neilston, but they were reprieved. There was also a scheme to build a cord from the East Kilbride branch to connect it with this line near here. And this is the last day of £1.50 return tickets in the Glasgow area for people with bus passes, so I'm making the most of it. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to sponsor me with a coffee or even a beer, please see the link here to Ko-fi. And I'd like to thank all my previous donors who are shown here on this slide. Thank you very much.